YouTube now. I kept pressing just create instead of live now.
And here comes Josh being live now, trying to start a Goad, what's that called? A chat party or a live party or
watch party?
Watch party.
Oh, one of those?
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, that's probably something that we should start telling the audience, is that we take a couple minutes to start a...
Is it streaming right now?
Yeah.
Is that what it's supposed to look like?
Yes.
Good
So
idea.
it should come on any minute.
Any minute now.
So, yeah.
So this is an important note because if you're a consistent watcher or listener to the Goad podcast, then getting on our Facebook live feeds or watch parties gets you advanced listening privileges to the podcast itself, and all the bloopers, all the things that we edit out that you guys aren't aware of. Actually, we don't edit anything.
Right. I mean, yeah. See,
a man of many words.
See, now that should be edited out, but obviously the audience here gets to see that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Or it could be like Daniel walking away and grabbing his Biblia.
Grabbing his Biblia.
So that,
He's got a Biblia!
So that he can get really into it.
I go nowhere without several editions of the Biblia. And if you like, oh, I don't get that. See? What the heck?
Mine's
okay.
going.
His is going. Josh is going.
So.
Leave party now? Yeah. I'm going to leave my... How do I
You-
leave my
Oh, that
own
means
party?
you already started it if it's in leave.
Oh, so you started your own?
No, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing.
Give me your phone.
All right.
You go to the
There it is.
notification, hit share.
Yeah, you go to the notification. You
No, I don't get notifications from my own group. What are you doing here? What's going on?
Yeah, see, you already started to, you wanted to make your own watch party.
That's what I thought I was doing.
No, you're taking it off of that.
That can't. Is that
So
bad?
start a
That's
watch
bad.
party, and then you look for the...
This is the Facebook tutorial on how
There
to
it
start
is.
a watch party.
top one.
Yeah, the top one. That's us. Yeah, that's the shirt I'm wearing. Right on.
Yeah, and then you press start watch party after you press that one. You share it. Start watch party. Got it?
Sure. No. Remove from cure.
So,
No, look, it doesn't do anything.
give it to me. Did you press on it?
Yeah, I pressed on it. It puts it in the queue. Look.
Yes, and
I got
look
it.
how many times you put it
I
there.
know, because I keep pressing it like you tell me to, and then it goes in the, it goes in the
I
queue.
said press it once.
And now look at that.
Yes.
I did press it once.
No,
Nothing happened.
you went like that.
Nothing happened. It just goes back. It just ends up in that little box at the bottom.
We'll get it together.
I got
in a second.
27 queues. Yeah, I got 27 Facebook queues. What you want, man? Hey, I don't know, this technology's too big for me.
Looks like we already got a.
You got too many buttons and thingamajiggies.
So, okay, you don't have to go to our webpage. You go on your own.
You go on your own.
Okay.
Solo, if you will.
And then you go to watch party.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Look at him shake his head. He's going through this whole tutorial on how to do it, and then he shakes his head. That's when you know everything's going in reverse. He was moving full speed ahead, and then he shook his head, and then everything goes rewind.
He's going to end up going back to, you know what, just go on that page and then share it.
Yeah. Yeah, your Facebook don't work the same way as my Facebook.
Well, because you have an iPhone.
I got an iPhone.
Ah.
That's somehow different. Somehow different. Oh, I'm going to post it. Here we go. I'm posting now. Your watch party is about to begin. Hey, look, all you Jake Giffen followers, aren't you going to be so blessed to know? Right there. You're
And there you go.
You're in.
You're on.
You're on like.
We're also on YouTube, everybody. So if you go on YouTube, you can look up Goad and you can subscribe and like, and you could even comment here on Facebook, or you could even comment and ask questions on YouTube. And so, preferably Facebook, because all of us are on Facebook right now.
All of us.
None of us are on on YouTube. Maybe I should go on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, hit us up with some questions on Facebook if you want, or some comments.
Yes. Hit us up. Ask questions if you will. This is Conspiracy
Of conspiracies.
episode. Yeah, this is the Conspiracy of Conspiracies
Oh,
episode.
it is
Oh,
conspiracy.
which reminds me that this Facebook thing is just a complete sham. That's why it didn't work. It's conspiracy.
It didn't work because you have no phone.
I'm part of the machine. I'm part of the Apple machine.
Facebook is a conspiracy.
Facebook is a conspiracy to hold down the masses.
Hold down the masses.
You know, if anybody were
Mind control.
stockholders at sea in Facebook, the Illuminati, for instance, must have gotten to the Facebook dude early.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, must have got to him early. Matter of fact,
Maybe he's
Early?
a product of them.
Early or Arly?
early, or the pirates. Arr. Well, who's that guy? Because he teamed up with the Napster dude.
Oh, you remember Gangster?
Yeah, well, the guy that started Napster is on the board of Facebook. He started it with them.
I don't remember the dude's name, but I remember Napster.
Right. So that guy must be in the Illuminati that recruited Zuckerberg. Boom.
So you believe in the Illuminati?
I believe in an Illuminati-ish.
I know that Tupac did.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
of his songs had
Dude,
the
that's
word
who,
Illuminati in it.
that's who killed Tupac.
Dude, no. They
The
were
hip hop industry is just loaded with.
Put your mouth on there, bro.
I'm not comfortable with that. That's offensive to me too.
Oh, man.
They
But-
can't do it.
What were you saying?
The hip hop industry is just loaded with references and lyrical references, interview references to the Illuminati, to things consisting of the Illuminati, to their agenda. So yeah, there's definitely a widespread belief about them in that.
So on the topic of Illuminati, do you guys believe that it dates back to the founding fathers of this nation?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know. I think it was founded in 1776 with
Yes.
a German guy named Luch or something like that. I can't
Right.
remember his name. Who wasn't quite getting along well with the Freemasons.
Right.
There's some things he had different in mind as far as Freemasonry, and so he decided he wanted to start his own group. And so
Freemasons, weird too, huh?
Freemasons are just like the Illuminati,
Right.
more or less.
But they're not too much involved with the government. The Freemasons.
Well, they are for sure.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's pretty well known that, well, not well known, but when you read those conspiracy books and ideas, it's every president's been a Freemason or something like that. It's
Dude, they're all Nordics.
senators and all those people. There's a lot of Freemasons.
They're all Nordics, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they come from the center of the earth. Lizard people.
Oh, the lizard people. Yeah. Yeah.
They don't
that's-
have that face.
the lizard people phase.
Someone was just talking about this
Yeah.
with people today, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, it's weird. I mean, but you
Yeah.
know, they're our founding fathers, so
Yeah, dude.
a lot of them were believers, and which was awesome.
Some of them look like iguanas. They do. They got that iguana look. You know?
So
You know that weird iguana look?
I've heard this before.
I think that's called age.
I think I saw one of them lick their eyes the other night during a meeting.
Dude, all like reptilian and to camouflage itself.
Yeah.
But you just see the tongue come out.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's
So-
how they freak people out.
So I've heard this from Daniel, okay, and I've heard it from a lot of other people about the dollar bill.
Oh, the all-seeing eye.
Yeah. So, what do you think that represents?
Just the fact that they're there and behind pretty much the foundations from the beginning, one way or another.
Okay.
I mean, obviously we all see how God had his way in the whole founding of this new world and all the things that took place and come into this country. But yeah, I think Satan was right there with him.
And you? Where do you stand
And
on
me?
it? Yeah.
I believe that the all-seeing eye represents the theism of the creation of the nation.
Right. And so, I've heard this before, and I don't remember where. I think it was on Facebook. It was a post a few years ago about the dollar bill, you know, like the United States flag, the 13 stripes represent, you know,
The colonies.
The colonies. Not only that, but it's a representation of the blood of Jesus, and then making us white as snow.
Okay.
The red stripes and then the white stripes represent.
You can symbolize that in there.
And that's what that's what they say.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you actually look at when they created the flag and stuff like that, like these are the representations. So I saw the same thing about the dollar bill a long time ago. I couldn't find that very same one, but I did find this right here. And it says right here, the symbol, one of the most eye-catching dollar bill symbols is the pyramid, which represents strength and duration. Some interpret missing top as a sign that the country wasn't finished yet. Similarly, the western face of the pyramid is in a shadow while the front is lighted, which some say indicate that the nation hadn't explored the West or figured out what it would do for Western civilization. So that's the pyramid. And then the eye above the pyramid says, when Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams gathered to design the seal, they were the first of the three committees to make suggestions. They didn't suggest the pyramid, but they did discuss an eye. They wanted the seal to have a symbol of divine providence, and the all-seeing eye shaped like the top of the pyramid is an ancient symbol of divinity.
Okay.
So that's what was in their mind, but that's the reason why I asked if you think that the Illuminati, if real, which, like you said, I'm in the same boat as you, like there's something there. That there's, whether it's the Freemasons or whoever the Illuminati, I don't know, there's something there that dates back to when this nation was formed. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to think that way, but some of the things that happen in the world and with government, it seems like there's something higher than...
Yeah. I mean, you don't even have to go back as far as the founding of the nation to get to, let's say, the Illuminati. If you look at places or people like Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan Chase, Carnegie.
J.P. Morgan, the ones that, remember they busted a ship that was filled with thousands of pounds of crack and cocaine and heroin?
that was
billions
recently.
of dollars, recently,
But when those guys were actually alive, Carnegie Steel and J.P. Morgan Chase was doing the banking, and all these mega people that essentially built America. Like, we are who we are because of Carnegie Steel. Like, he built New York. Like, you know what I mean? So he had...
How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
You got well, see, the thing is too that when they get old enough, Carnegie, Rockefeller, all these guys get old enough, then they start doing all this philanthropic kind of work. They start pouring in millions upon millions of dollars into libraries and schools and charities and all these things. If you had the wherewithal in your mind at that time, you could guess that with all this power and the early development of the industrial age of America, I could potentially have my family in charge of this thing for a long time.
Absolutely.
And so essentially when those guys make all that money equivalent to billionaires today, I mean, they were beyond rich, and then smart enough to invest their money in places where that money now pours into their family in perpetuity. Right? It's an endless supply of cash. And then they put their families in politics like Trump's doing today. It's no different throughout history. Super famous or super rich people get their family in politics, and that power structure goes on. It's the Clintons, it's the Rockefellers, it's all those people.
Bushes.
Yep, the Bushes. Throughout history. I mean, look at Rockefeller. There's still Rockefellers in politics today.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like he hasn't, and the original dude, super famous, great, wealthy, helped this nation develop, he's been dead for, I don't even know who the first guy was, but a couple hundred years, I'm betting, 100 years.
Yeah, definitely.
Not a couple hundred years, maybe, was there Carnegie, maybe 1920s, I guess, I'm guessing. Early though, before New York. I mean,
so about 100 years.
Yeah, about 100 years.
Right. I mean, so So there is something out there.
It could.
I mean, whether it's the Illuminati or not, there is.
Put a guy like Elon Musk,
Dude.
the brain of Elon Musk, back when we were still using like horses and wagons. A guy with that kind of brain power and bandwidth could think multiple steps ahead.
Yeah.
Now you put him in a group with other people who can think like that too. Yeah, dude. Illuminati makes sense.
It does, to some extent. I mean, there has to be something out there that's more powerful than
Well, what would you
or
do?
something that's giving, something that's planted in there that is giving the ideology of like, hey, we need, and then like people that we don't even know that are doing this, like secret governments and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm all thinking. I've always thought that. I've also always anti-political, you know, and thinking that there's, you know, things that happen in the world that was planned, like this, you know, COVID-19 that is happening, and you know, all kinds of other stuff. We even saw that website. Remember that website?
Oh yeah, the one I'm a member of it now.
Yeah, he's a member
It's a
of
government.
the website.
It's a government website. Tracks everything.
Dude, fake food.
It's really great.
Right?
It's a really great website. I'll get you the address next.
Yeah,
I'll put it in the show notes or something.
Yeah, we can. I'm on YouTube, so if you want to put it on Facebook, you can.
What the address?
Yeah, if you have it. If you don't, it's fine. We can put it on there after.
I don't have
We
it here.
can
I have-
shoot you guys the. And they even say do not share this information unless you subscribe. I mean, when you subscribe yourself, you can't share this information with anybody unless they're also a subscriber to it.
No, because then it breaks laws.
Yeah,
I've seen
dude.
a few things like that.
Right.
If you're caught researching it on your computer, if you're caught researching it on your phone, looking into this, looking into that,
Now this is a legit
you're in
website.
It is a
danger of
legit
being
website,
persecuted
though.
by the federal.
Yeah, this is a legit website. We'll
So-
get it for you right now. Get the laptop out.
So yeah, dude, it's crazy when I used to think about those things, and you know, just knowing that the government is dude, I don't. It's hard to say. It's
There's-
hard to say, but I know there's something out there that is influencing the government to go one way, and that one way is most likely the one world currency, the one world
Globalist.
government. Yeah, they're all globalists. Like the Illuminati, if it was real, they probably want to control everything,
Absolutely.
and so they're putting all this stuff in people's minds
Yeah.
and all that. So
Well, think about it too in terms of, like, you have the government, which is the House, the Senate, and the executive branch. If you think of those people as being just the figureheads, the people who are sitting in a seat that's job is to, let's say, create laws, make legislation, to run the country, but behind them are people like George Soros, the Koch brothers, all these
Rockefellers,
Rothschilds, all
DuPonts.
these people, yep. All that are funding and passing money and buying their influence. And so
Absolutely.
if that group of people are considered, let's say, the brainchild of, or the directors of where this country is going, then in that case, the Illuminati, at least in spirit, exists, if not in name.
True that.
right. Yeah. I mean, there's something there, and there's something or someone that's controlling the Antichrist. Just never know.
It's
dude.
strategicintelligence.com, by the way.
Oh, that's what it's called?
Strategic
Yeah,
intelligence.
strategicintelligence.com. Strategicintelligence.com, by the way, if you go there, has this magnificent,
Yeah.
it's a circle. Your main subject is in the middle.
COVID-19.
Let's say you pick COVID-19.
But
boom.
that's what it is. The center is COVID-19.
The center is whatever you click on it to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was COVID-19.
Yeah. So you can click on world economics, for instance, boom,
Yeah.
and then that'll spread out and give you all these hyperlinks to how is that affecting Africa, how is this affecting the United States, groceries, transportation, all these major segments of society. You know, whatever's in the middle, it'll outline it to wherever. So if you put COVID-19 in the middle, it'll go, well, how is that affecting transportation, businesses, healthcare, other countries, blah, 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 blah. And then you can just click and go down rabbit trail after rabbit trail, dude. It's really great website. Well put together.
Yeah, dude. If you're interested in that stuff, you have to
I'm
check it out.
surprised I haven't heard of it actually. But...
We got it from that lady that we were watching that one night.
Oh,
Remember?
really?
Yeah, that chick.
Yeah, I was showing him the other night, like 2 weeks ago or something like that, 3
Yeah.
weeks. And, I mean, I had to go to sleep. It was really late. And,
The one that used to work with them or something like that.
yeah,
Just
she
kinda
used
throwing
to
them
work
under the
for
bus
FEMA
now.
or something like that.
Yeah.
FEMA.
Yeah. And so we were trying to get her as a guest on here, but she hasn't responded to you back yet, huh?
No, she hasn't responded. Come on. Hey, you know who you are, whatever your name is, because I forgot who you are.
I'm sure you're watching.
I'm sure you're watching. Everybody else is. Dang it. Pick up a phone.
Siri's listening to you.
Siri's listening to me. This is going crazy. Hey, Siri, cancel.
So yeah, there's something going on that is beyond our knowledge of control.
Oh, yeah.
And whatever that is, ultimately, I know it's safe.
Just bet there's money
absolutely.
involved for sure.
Money involved, I mean, money isn't necessarily evil, but it's the root of all kinds of
Well,
evil.
I guess money and power.
Money and power, yes. I mean, it's the way you use the money,
Yeah.
and it's the way how you express the money to be.
Look, yeah.
I mean, just think of it. Cryptocurrency is untraceable. How do you
Right.
think the black market works? It works on cryptocurrency
Mhm.
because you can't trace it anywhere. And I've heard about this stuff, dude. You can buy like human leather. You can.
Human, wait.
Leather made
Don't
from
skim
human
over
skin.
that.
Okay.
That's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Dude,
stuff right there.
So you can buy a human leather
You
wallet.
can get some human chili.
Dude, it's like, and then you can find these red rooms, and then if you can find the red room,
Are you
and
talking about the dark web?
yes,
Yeah.
if you find this
4K,
red room, you just
8K.
never know what you're gonna see in that
Oh, yeah.
because it's nuts, right? And then you're in there with cryptocurrency, and you can't get you can't trace you to it.
Yeah.
It's nuts, and yeah, human leather. There was some guy that I was watching on YouTube, and he goes, "I don't know where they get their human from, but this looks kind of weird."
Duh.
Fresh
Where do you
Illuminati
get the-
babies.
It's either they're killing people or buying cadavers out of mortuaries and skinning these things alive. It's crazy.
I've seen those movies, dude, where they hunt people in the wilderness. They invite you out to a cabin,
Oh, in
Oh, yeah.
Brazil?
you know, and then when you wake up in the morning, they give you a nice breakfast. They're like, dude, thanks,
Yeah.
Daniel, for coming, dude. This is so exciting. So here's how the day's gonna go.
I'm gonna skin you alive.
We're gonna give you a half an hour to run out that door and hide. We're gonna grab our guns. We're gonna come find you, kill you.
I'm sure they more
Now, if you
brutal
make
than
it-
done.
Now, if you make it, you get to live.
So yeah,
Go.
or sometimes these people like they give you directions to like a mystery box, and you don't even know what's in there, and then you buy it with the crypto, and then they drop it off somewhere, like in the middle of a trail or forest.
Dude, does that just seem like a lot of people that have way too much time on their hands?
And cryptocurrency, way too much money. Like
Way too much money.
one coin, one.
What do you
crypto-
have when you got a lot of money?
Oh, dude.
When you have more money than you need,
I'll
what do
take
you have?
that.
Time.
I'll take
Now
that
you got all
problem.
kinds of
One
time
whole
to do
Yes.
just
crypto
a bill.
coin.
Totally right.
Crypto. What is it called? What is that crypto called? Cryptocurrency.
Oh, Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin. Right. I don't know how much it's worth right now, but my ex coworker, he has a whole one. And
He bought cheap. Probably
he
like
bought-
a couple
he
cents.
bought it- no, he bought it when he bought it at $7,000.
Oh, yeah.
But now it's rising and rising and rising.
Yeah, it's going.
It's keep going up. I mean, dude, this guy's gonna cash out pretty good. But then by that time, I'm sure cryptocurrency will probably be the only currency we have.
That'd be alright. I wish I would have gotten in early, but of course that's all. What do I know about any currency?
Yeah. All I know how to
You
do is spend it.
You imagine if you would have bought Bitcoin at like $1 a piece. You put in $10,000 and then it goes to $10,000 in value. You're like, stop that, dude. I'm rich. There's people that got stupid rich on Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, dude. And still, I mean, you're not gonna cash it out now if it keeps. You know, I mean, I see it. It's going like this.
Yeah.
sometimes it's going down, 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 but then it starts rising up and up and up. But then, pretty soon, like I said, conspiracy theorists or not, I believe that the one world currency might be cryptocurrency.
See, I don't know. I mean, I might disagree a little bit.
Remember in Demolition Man, they're like, you got 5
Yeah.
credits, and then you have like a little thing in there, and you go, beep.
Yeah.
Dude.
But I think the point of cryptocurrency is to keep it from any kind of control or legislation, right? Like right now, the Fed could just print a ton of money, tank the dollar. A gallon of milk's going to be worth $50. It's like that passage from Revelation where it says a barrel of wheat for a denarius or something, right, or whatever it is. Where you're just going, and I gotta just put a ton of money into like a piece of cheese.
Yeah.
Right? And then cryptocurrency is supposed to avoid that, where it's just like, hey, let them print all the money they want. We have our own currency anyway. I think that's probably, unless somebody jumps in and starts
Well, look at the euro.
controlling it.
Look at the euro. It's going down in price. And if this economy keeps crashing, what is the dollar going to be worth?
No, it's not going to be.
The paper it's printed on.
That's what I'm talking about. And then you have cryptocurrency, and then they're going to try to start controlling it. You got Litecoin, you got Dogcoin, you got Bitcoin, you got all kinds of these different coins. You can spend it in different places. I even see people having these credit cards for cryptocurrency.
No, really?
Yes.
Credit points. Oh, that's all right.
It's crazy. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, I could be wrong. I probably am, but I'm thinking it's going that way.
I do that. I mean, that's
No, yeah, that's
Dude,
a-
and if
that's-
it's untraceable,
that's
do you think
that's
that
a
it's...
widespread belief.
Do you
That's
think-
what it's going to.
Do you,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
like we've been talking about the Illuminati, do you think they have their hand in that then?
I think they own Bitcoin.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right?
Whoever.
They're pretty much founders of anything that's going to go on the rise, man.
That's what I'm
I.
talking
That's
about.
what I feel.
Dude, they're playing like multi-level chess.
Yeah.
They're 50 years ahead. They've already played out all the pieces and all the scenarios. You get somebody like George Soros, who is funding and pouring in a ton of money into riots and outrage culture, and funding the Facebook accounts and the YouTube accounts that are just pushing hatred and all these other things.
Right.
He wants that. If our economy collapses, that's good for him for some reason. Maybe because whatever. I'd be speculating.
I'm
out
sure
my
it's not
butt if I
collapsing
did.
for him.
It's not collapsing for
No.
him because he's hedged.
Right.
He's going to benefit from any collapse. That's why he's, yeah.
From what I'm researching, these people are involved in more than just the U.S. Their
Oh, yeah.
influence goes to every single country because of their money and power. If I lend you something to help you do something that you can't pay me back for, it's actually better for me if I'm one of them, because then I can push my influence into your agenda
Right.
as a payment for your debt.
It's like gangster stuff.
Rather than
that's what
rather
I'm
than you
talking
pay
about.
me back, hey, how about you just implement this into what you're doing with that over there, and we'll call that part squared.
That's
You
what
still
I'm,
owe me big
yeah.
though, but for that part, we're squared.
That's what
You
I'm
know?
talking about. That
Yeah.
there's some sort of ideological, if that's a word,
Ideological.
ideological. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I did.
You hit it.
Graduate high school.
No,
so.
I didn't graduate.
Either grammar
I didn't
or
graduate.
pronunciation. Graduate.
I didn't graduate
So
high school.
high school. So yeah, I mean, there has to be some driving force that's out there, and ultimately, I mean, obviously, we know it's controlled by the enemy. But
Again,
these
very
people,
smart people, yeah.
are, dude, are very smart. Like you said, they're ages ahead, and they're implementing these crazy ideals into the world, and a lot of people have no idea.
No.
And people do look it up, and oh, that's like, we're just saying, that's like conspiracy. So like,
Yeah.
is it even real or not, or are people just
Right.
making up these things just so other people, the gullible people, could believe all this stuff?
Well, that's the brilliance of it, though, right? If you were to mastermind some chaotic plan, right? It's like then and keep it secret, and then as it leaks out, and as every time it leaks out, you jump on the news or send out 1,000 news stories. Every time it leaks out, something leaks out that what you did or what happened. Let's say alien encounter or whatever it is, or Illuminati. And you go, every time that leaks out,
Subliminal messaging.
you send out 1,000 messages calling people crazy, this is weird, who even believes that kind of stuff? and the amount of data that piles on to discrediting those is so vast that then we start looking at people going, that's crazy talk. What are you thinking?
Yeah, you're such a conspiracy theorist.
Right?
Come on. What about subliminal messaging? Do you think that's from aliens?
Subliminal messaging is just a good idea.
It's just a good idea.
I make fun of him because he likes aliens.
Dude, I like aliens, but I like subliminal messaging too.
Dude, it's crazy, right?
Dude, there's a you gotta look this up, right? So on Darren Brown does this video. He's a hypnotherapist. He's a hypno guy. What's that called? Mentalist, right? So he does this video where he gets this guy to believe that what he really wants for Christmas or his birthday or something is a red bicycle. It's awesome. It is so awesome. Yeah, look up Darren Brown and the red bicycle. Watch that video and you will trip out. I'm a big fan of the subliminal. I'm a big fan. He does several videos like that where he uses the mentalist kind of subliminal, suggestive kind of
Plants
imagery or
ideas in
whatever.
your head. You can
Yeah.
follow your own in the end.
Yeah, where he plants ideas. He's got one in there where he decided, so he was going to get these marketing guys together, right? So he's going to get these marketing guys together, have them put together a campaign for a pet cemetery or pet burial thing, right? Gets him to his office, says, I'm going to leave you alone for an hour. Go ahead and put together a campaign. They put together a campaign. He steps back in. He goes, now what I have in this envelope, right? You haven't seen it? No, I haven't seen it. Have we talked about this? No, we haven't talked about this. He opens the envelope, and almost exactly they've created a campaign of what he had in the envelope.
Wow.
And so then he goes back and he goes, here's how I did it.
His office.
And from the airport where he picked him up to the office, he had these things set up, like people wearing these shirts, these blue shirts with bears on them, or you go by another place where there's harps. He set it all up to get in their mind, so when they thought that was a killer idea too. Oh, look at this advertising campaign, man, we got it.
Yeah.
You know, and then he shows him, he's like, and they looked at him like, you're some kind of wizard. Like, what did you do? Right? So it was like,
Yeah, that's
I'm a big fan. But along those same lines now, you put that kind of power or understanding of the human mind in control of people who work media, who are in control of Facebook and Twitter and the messaging that goes out in the common fare. Dude, you can control the masses with propaganda and with proper messaging.
Yeah.
You can control, man. I've studied that stuff, or I've at least looked at a lot of that stuff for years, and it's like, the human brain is so fascinating in that you can manipulate it. You can train it to do great things. You can manage it, it's amazing. But you can also manipulate it.
Sorry about that on Facebook world. I guess it was no sound. Or it cut off somewhere.
What?
Yeah.
No
But
way.
You can watch it on YouTube, or you can hear it when it comes out next week.
Read my lips.
But on YouTube, it's been good. So, dude, that's crazy. Subliminal messaging. I remember one time watching The Simpsons, a long time ago, when there was subliminal messaging going on for people to join the Navy. And so they had this big commercial, and they were saying Yvonne Niage, which is join the Navy backwards. And so all kinds of people just started going to the Navy, and they didn't even know why, but they were saying this phrase, and they're just like, I'm going to the Navy. Like,
Dude, my thick crust and extra cheese sales went up by like 15% every time somebody at Domino's, when somebody would be on the phone and I'd stand behind them and go, thick crust. Thick crust. And then the person would say, hey, would you like thick crust with that? And the person on the phone would go, yeah, that sounds good. I don't know if that was, you were going to say something. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
I don't even know what I was going to say.
It was going to be impressive.
What did he mention right before that?
Joining the Navy.
The Simpsons. I just trip how much. What is it about Matt Groening or the writers of that show that has put them in like future predicting
Right.
scenes,
I've
or
seen- yeah.
just being in on the knowledge of the plan, which is what I'm more thinking.
It's
like,
crazy, isn't it?
I highly doubt he's a prophet or a seer.
No, he's in the
More, I
Illuminati.
think he's in the
a
inner
part
circle.
of that weird group.
Dude, if you want to control a nation of variable idiots, you got to put adult cartoons on at prime time. Right, and that's the demo. You want to know what your demographic is? I'm not saying everybody
Oh,
that
man.
watches Simpsons are idiots. I enjoy a Simpsons video or whatever, but it's that's if you got grown people watching cartoons, then
Like religiously.
you could control the nation.
Yeah, but it's not even a kid's cartoon, really.
It's not. No, that's what I'm saying. But it is a cartoon.
Right, it is a cartoon. I think it's just so funny. I saw that too, and then you see all kinds of stuff happening that now that they predicted a long time ago. It's crazy.
They're on the inside. Matt.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. Matt Groening or whatever his name is. They're all on the
What-
inside.
what I
Simon?
did-
Simon?
What I did
That
actually
dude
always
died,
wonder
though.
though is if he is like on the inside or connected to it but against it and trying to put it out there.
Oh, for people to
I don't.
as in a subliminal message, like,
Yeah.
hey, this
What-
is gonna happen. Like,
Yeah, like-
didn't they predict Donald Trump and
Becoming
one of the-
president?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they did.
Yeah. And there's even they're even saying that I haven't seen the episode, but they're saying that there was something about Kobe and his plane, his helicopter crash
No,
on there. But I did see another cartoon that had Kobe crash in a helicopter, like 2013 or something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Dude,
it
you
wasn't
could-
The Simpsons.
Lead up to when Obama was going to be elected president, and the season of I think the 2 previous seasons of the show 24 with the right.
The vampire guy from way back in the
The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Kiefer
Yeah,
Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland.
There you go.
So with Kiefer Sutherland, the 2 seasons leading up to that election was they had a black president in that.
Or that one guy with the deep voice.
That was very much it was
Yeah.
very much like Obama too. The kind of so
The
it was
guy-
like. So I watched that show after Obama because I went on a bender. A 24. If you've never watched 24, it's a great show.
It was pretty good.
I
Until you
started
get to-
watching, but I couldn't watch
Until you get to around season 4 or 5, then it gets
Yeah.
a little crazy.
I think I saw most of the first 2.
Yeah, I watched them all because when I commit, I commit.
I was more
Even when it gets
I was
weird.
more into Prison Break at that time.
Prison Break. I didn't make it through Prison Break
I made it through Prison
with the tattoos and the messages and
Break.
stuff on
Yeah,
his
dude.
body.
See, that's another thing, dude. Like, that's crazy. But I mean, but there's all kinds of stuff out there. Like what happened with Roswell. Like what's up with Roswell?
Well, those were aliens, man. They declassified a lot of those documents now.
What a better, what a better thing to put out there to people that it's a conspiracy of hiding aliens if it's in reality government technology being tested that nobody's supposed to know about.
Right.
So let's put it out there that it's aliens. 'Cause
All right.
God
So I have
forbid
a
people know
story.
what we're really working on right
All
now.
right.
All right, like
A story that I
Give
used
us some
to
more.
hear in my childhood.
in regards to
My dad and his father. My dad
Okay.
and his.
Kukui.
My dad and my grandpa.
All right, hit it.
So, my grandpa would work, and then he would pick up the kids from school or something like that, and then they would walk home. It would be late because they lived. It was in El Paso, Texas, and so he would pick them up, and they would walk home. And one time they were very late, and they were walking through the desert like late at night. You could see the stars, you could see the moon was giving them light in a way, flashlight or whatever. So one night they were walking, and all of a sudden they saw something, and they felt it hovering above them, like going. And then when it did that, all of a sudden the desert looked bright, as if it's daytime, and then it shot off. Right away. So, and that happened in El Paso, Texas.
El Paso.
Yeah. So, that's one story that I know my dad's witnessed, and I believe the stuff that he's told me. I don't think he was tripping out at the time.
Where do you stand on the alien thing, Daniel?
I don't believe in aliens.
Okay.
I don't believe in aliens either. but there is something out there, and something is controlling this. Because I've witnessed something a long time ago when I went. I wasn't a believer, but I used to hang out with some church kids, and I went on a youth retreat one time out there in La Jolla, and we were telling stories over a campfire, and then some guy next to me, he goes, "Hey, you see that up there? You see that star that's moving?" And I'm like, he goes, "Look, it's right there." And then like I look, and then you can see this light just like going in circles. It's like I don't know of any satellite moving in circles like that. And then all of a sudden it disappears, and you see it over here, it disappears, and you see it over there. And then all of a sudden it's like, it's gone. Like, it was weird. One of the weirdest things I've seen. And I'm like, a satellite cannot do that. And it even, for some reason, to me, it looked like it was, you know how I told you, like, I thought things were like projections, or a projection off the stars. And to me, it looked like it was beyond the stars.
All right.
It was weird.
Look, man, I think, I don't know, I don't believe in aliens.
Yeah, you do.
But I'm all for them. I think if God wanted to create other civilizations on other planets with other beings, he's far beyond creative enough to where this little planet can't hold it. You know what I mean? I think he's just, God is so vast and so utterly creative that he can do whatever he wants.
Oh, absolutely.
And the universe is so huge.
Right.
Huge.
We talked about that the other day, about the Hubble telescope and the Hubble deep zones. Like, it's huge. Like, we can't even look beyond what the Hubble can.
Right. We've also discussed too that why do we always just presuppose that the aliens are going to be hostile because of shows like Independence Day or movies like Independence Day or Close Encounters of the Third Kind or one of those movies where they come with bad intentions or aliens. What if they got off the ship? We talked about what if they got off the ship and they're just like, hey, what's up? What if they came from a planet that didn't eat the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? Yes. What if they ate the other tree?
Then we would corrupt them.
They would be beyond corruption.
Yeah, right. They wouldn't be able to understand.
They would show up and be like, "What are you guys?" Yeah. Oh.
They would have to leave.
And they would say, "See, this is." Somebody would be wise enough to go, "Okay." It would be like me and them, because I would say, because I'm presupposing that they were created by God. And I imagine that God would just put me in their path because I understand that that's what's happened. You heard it here. And they would come down the little thing, and I'd be like, "Yo, who's Jesus to you?" And they'd be like, "Who's Jesus?" Right, Jesus is, right? He's God. But why do you know? Like, oh, because he saved me. They'd be like, "Saved you from what?" Right? Because they're right. They didn't need him. Right? I mean, they need him, but they know him intimately without ever having.
But they'd still be angels.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
That is interesting, actually.
I guess what you could call it theology.
But it wouldn't promote fear.
Yeah, it's not a good theology.
That's not good theology.
That doesn't promote fear, though.
Huh?
That doesn't promote fear, so it doesn't work.
It's not good for
it doesn't, and I mean, I don't know. My thought is that with people coming up on the news and stuff like that, saying they've been probed and they've seen aliens and they were abducted by aliens, and you got all these movies. Like, my thought is, and I've said this before, the way that the book of Ezekiel, I believe it's chapter 1 or chapter 2, when it explains angels in its normal form, 4 faces, wings that cover its eyes, wings that used to fly. The life is in the wheels. They go forward and back. Like, they don't look. Like, they just move. They don't change direction. And it's like, what if they just come and, because we don't know how they look, and people just suppose that they're aliens. I mean,
that's true.
And then with that type of thought, it's like, it makes sense to me, and him and I totally disagree about this, about the sons of God coming to earth and taking the woman, and knowing them.
The kicked out sons of God?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've discussed this before.
Yeah, we disagree.
So, but it makes sense if
Makes
people
sense to you.
think. If people think, well, it's the only way to make sense of it, because people think that they're getting probed by aliens. What if it's these angels? Probing them.
Banging earthly chicks.
That's a,
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not getting pregnant.
Why not?
I don't know. I
They
don't
have-
know why they're not getting pregnant. Maybe they're shooting blanks.
Maybe, I don't know.
Got angels
Because
shooting blanks all of a sudden.
you have angels can disguise themselves as humans,
Look, I
and
disagree with a lot of.
we know of this
Yeah.
because of the Old Testament, right? Even I think it's in Hebrews where I believe it's the Apostle Paul who wrote Hebrews that he says that we have entertained angels unawares.
Yeah.
So they can disguise themselves as humans, and I'm sure just because they were kicked out doesn't mean that their power is any different. Like they lost their power. So I'm sure that if they came, it's possible that they can happen.
You hold that view with a ton of great theologians.
Right.
I mean, J.I. Packer, I think, holds that. I mean, Chuck Smith, John MacArthur, I think, has that same.
Chuck Missler.
Well, Chuck Missler.
He
May
was
he
a-
rest in peace. He was a little fruity. I mean, he got a little far out
He was
there.
different.
He
He was different.
I love listening to him, but
Right.
man, he got real.
But
deep
yeah,
into
I mean,
some weird stuff.
The whole thought of the sons of God being the line of Seth is a relatively newer theory.
It's a contextual understanding of the passage thing.
Contextual. I mean, so when I read in Job how the sons of God, referring to the angels, went to God in the throne room.
Again, a contextual. That's context.
Right. I mean, so when was a man ever known as God, a capital G?
A son of God.
Yeah.
Romans 8.
Capital G?
Yeah, he who's led by the Spirit is the son of God.
It's not a capital G though. Well,
Doesn't
a son of God, yes, son of God.
or sons of God.
See, that's
Led by the
different.
Spirit. Why is it different? It's look, you read Romans 5,
it's-
6, 7 in
it's
context. It's just no
It's
chance.
talking about
There's no chance angels are banging chicks. There's just no way in my mind that confused.
yeah, all right. We've discussed this already. I could go more. But I'm sure people don't want to listen to us babble.
But look, to be fair, I disagree, but that's not to say that that is not a very popular view of that passage.
It's not.
It is a popular view. I mean, a lot of well-known theologians hold that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in good company.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, it's
Dude, it's the most silliest thing you could ever know. Okay, but contextually, like you said, I see it in that view.
Well, okay, so Chuck Missler then believed, because he wrote a book in the late 90s, when Y2K,
Yeah.
he wrote a book about aliens, because aliens comes and goes in big swaths, right? But it's, he wrote a book, and Chuck Missler believed that that UFOs or aliens were demons. So it's probably a pretty similar view that maybe you guys hold, that they're demons.
Right.
Fallen angels or whatever, and they're which, look, I mean, I can't imagine a righteous society of aliens that have never sinned against God would want to come here and probe people. But I don't know, man. I don't know how naive or how weird I'd be if I didn't ever sin or have that monster in me that wanted to, kill me spiritually. If I didn't have those selfish desires, those things rose up from some other place, it seems like sometimes. I don't know what I'd be like what would any of us be like if Adam had eaten of the tree of life instead of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? This would be a completely different place. Illuminati, no such thing.
Right. Death, no such thing.
No corruption, no death,
corruption,
no
nothing. So, but we can agree that there are extraterrestrials.
And we can agree that there's multiplicity of conspiracies about it.
Right. Of course. Definitely.
Yeah.
Of course. I totally agree with that, and I hope that's
I know you do. And I hope
and I know you do too, but
I do too. But it
everybody
is,
knows that. The way we're gonna know is when we get to see
when
what's
we get
hard.
to, yeah. Look.
And then we're gonna laugh at each other.
We are. As soon as I get off my face in the presence of God, and I get acclimated to the new environment, and everything's good.
Lord,
Those
aliens.
are going to be some questions that we ask, right? Like, okay, let's talk about angels and women hooking up. Like, let's just play like speed round with Jesus, right? You go, okay, let's talk.
21 questions.
Yeah, angels and women hooking up on Earth. Yes, no. Okay, and then we'll get our answer, and we'll move on to a little bit better questions.
I think once we get off our face, we're gonna know everything
That's probably true.
anyway. And that's what I'm saying. We're just gonna laugh at each other. Like, you really thought that?
Man, you really thought that? You really thought we were gonna go pre-trip, huh? All right, well that's cool. I'm just kidding. The last 7 years really sucked.
The last 3.5.
The last 3.
I know I wasn't there.
Right.
I was looking down on you from heaven.
Sure.
When you were in hell.
Sure. Yeah. So there's other conspiracies, which is what happened to the body of Christ.
Yes, the body of Jesus Christ.
There's a lot of conspiracies in regards to the body of Christ. What happened to that?
That's why I got this book here.
The book of. It's called the Big Book.
The big
AA?
book of.
You brought an AA book.
I bought an AA book.
Conversation?
It's the Big Book of Christian Apologetics by Norman Geisler. Rest in peace.
Norman Geisler.
Norman.
Norman. We love you, Norman, and we love your family. We'll see you with Jesus soon.
So-
Well, hopefully not too soon, but keep everything warm for us.
So one of them is actually
Love
reincarnation.
Norman Geisler. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, dude, that's
Oh,
why I
no,
got this book.
reincarnation.
I went to when I was taking apologetics in Bible college. This is the book that we got from that. So reincarnation is one of them.
In regards to Jesus.
Yeah. So
Okay.
reincarnation. So alternate theories of resurrection. There's a bunch of naturalistic theories. Okay. And one of them is the authorities moved the body. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Doesn't seem to make. But there was a guard set over the tomb,
A few.
right? A few guards set over the tomb. They sent them to guard the tomb so that couldn't happen, so nobody could take the body.
Right, because some of the Sanhedrin went to the Romans and they said, hey, these people are going to steal the body of Jesus.
Something like that, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Pharisees, I think.
The Pharisees, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
Sanhedrin.
Pharisees, Sanhedrin is the one.
I was
The
thinking-
Pharisees probably told the Sanhedrin. The Sanhedrin are the ones who go to the government.
Try being one of the 3 Roman guards, or one of the Roman guards there that has to go back now and report and say, oh, hey, by the way, you know that job you gave us to do? We failed, they stole the body.
Yeah.
There's no way that dude lives.
No, absolutely not.
No
That's actually part of the whole conspiracy thing. And some things when you review just the guard itself, because in the King James version, it says that Pilate said take a watch. A watch is a number of guards.
Right.
How much at that time, for sure, to be able to pinpoint exactly how many were in a watch at that time. Even scholars can't really get back to it.
Same thing like a legion. A
Right,
legion is
right,
a
but
number.
a legion is a lot. Yeah, exactly. A battalion,
Yeah.
legion, squad.
Right.
So, but if you look at how important that was in their time, how much importance would have wanted to be put on it from both the Romans and the Israelites, the Pharisees. I mean, I'm sure the Pharisees asked for a guarding of the grave, but did the Pharisees trust the Romans? I'm sure the Pharisees probably had a few of their own men there too, to keep an extra watch on the grave to make sure there was no conspiracy taking place to let him be freed from that. So, but if you look later when Peter was taken by a guard, I don't remember who it was by, but when they were taking him into captivity, that guard was 4 groups of 4 soldiers. 16 soldiers to escort Peter, a follower of the Christ.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that there were at least 16 guards watching that grave.
Probably.
I mean,
Could be.
Christ was
Yeah.
way more important than Peter.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, the Romans were not going to let that body get away.
Yeah.
What kind of chaos was that going to cause
Right.
if that, which did come to be and which was caused.
Right.
I mean, the whole world has changed ever since. But because of the power of the resurrection, not because somebody stole the body.
Right.
Right. Or even the Roman authorities moving the body themselves.
Right.
Yeah,
Why would they? They're going to die.
That's like suicide.
Yeah, exactly.
So then you're gonna remove the body. Yeah, you're gonna remove the body that you didn't want moved. It's the Illuminati. They went back in time. They have a time machine. They went back and got Jesus out the tomb. No.
So it would go against. So it would make people against everything they're trying to push.
And so I guess this goes hand in hand with the Sanhedrin. It says if the Romans or the Sanhedrin had the body, why did they accuse the disciples of stealing it?
About to throw out. I mean, that would be lie number one, like lying 101. You know what I mean? I'd be told to blame at you when I did it.
But it's the same reason that Nero would set fire to Rome and blame the Christians. Right? We're not talking about a righteous society here.
Right. Oh yeah, totally.
So
another one was the tomb was never visited. Visited.
It's like being texted it.
That's what I'm talking about with my full.
I like it.
I love the vernacular.
It adds flavor.
So what about that one? Should we even get into that one?
That the tomb was never visited?
Yeah.
I mean, we know it was visited.
Okay, so
Josephus says it was. I think Josephus mentioned.
Yes, he does mention that. A lot of scholars do. I mean, we have 4 accounts that show that this tomb was visited, handwritten documents that tells us that the first 2 people that went to the tomb, like they visited the tomb. Yeah. You can't mistake the tomb where your Lord and your Savior is buried. How could you go to a different tomb?
That's got to be the worst of the theories.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Nobody showed up.
That's what I'm saying. Should we even get into that one?
Jesus walks on wire. He walked on a very thin wire. He was so good. He walked on water. He healed the blind. He rose the dead. He dies. He's buried. Nobody goes.
Yeah, right. It was a custom. It even says in the Bible, it was a custom to go prepare spices for the body, so they could go and perfume the body so it doesn't smell. Mm-hmm. So you have that. The other one is the women went to the wrong tomb. So.
I mean, they are historically bad at directions. Just kidding. I'm just kidding, ladies. I'm just joking. It's a joke.
That was him.
But
I can
joke. Yeah.
But they actually asked for him, so they ended up getting them.
So we kind of already touched on this one. The disciples stole the body.
Yeah, which is really funny, right? That's kind of one of the best ones, because if you think that Peter, John, and James stole the body, and then died for the lie.
Yeah, you don't die for a lie.
And
nobody dies.
And then where did it go? Because it was never found.
Yeah, exactly.
You think the Romans wouldn't have hunted that down in a Jewish city of people that were terrified of the Romans on a daily basis? I'm sure they didn't
conspire with the Romans and give them money. Like, what kind of money are they going to give them? They're going to die. They're going to die if they let these people steal the body.
Absolutely.
The best part of
it's no, you're going to die before I die.
And these guys are peasants, fishermen.
Right.
Illiterate fishermen.
They walk with
tax collectors.
Dude, they walked with Jesus for 3 years with nothing but a few loaves of bread.
You got a couple
some fish. I mean, dude, they didn't have money.
You got a couple idiot fishermen that go up to the guards and go, "Hey, look, bro, check this out. If you let us take the body, we'll let you marry your daughter, or we'll give you gold or something." They're not going to listen. What do you do?
My buckler is worth more than your house, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point. Where you're like, dude, what are you talking about? What are you, a fisherman?
Yeah.
Right. So another one is Joseph of Arimathea took the body.
He robbed his own tomb.
The guy who bought the tomb.
That's
still not getting past Roman guards, bro.
Yeah.
They weren't going to let their guard down. Dude.
That's the Indian giving conspiracy. Right? That's
racist.
I gave him the tomb.
I know, you can't say that anymore.
Well, I can say whatever. Anyway. Nobody's offended by that except white people. Hey,
man.
relax. All right, relax. But that's a funny one because that's like early buyer's remorse, where you give them the tomb and then you're like, they kind of want that tomb.
Oh, man.
How do I get past the guards? He was rich. He could have paid the guards, I guess.
So I have something else right here, but I'm not going to get into it until after we discuss this.
Oh, okay.
So another one is
He's got a bomb.
appearances were mistaken identity. I don't get that one.
Oh, post-resurrection appearances were mistaken identity.
So,
Interesting.
but I mean, he did rise. When he did resurrect, he was in his glorified body.
He was in a different body.
He was in a different body, but he still had the holes in his hands and his feet.
Yeah.
That would have been the case of mistaken identity. They thought it wasn't him
Right, but then,
until he revealed himself.
but then, yeah, exactly, because she was like, what was it, Mary that said, "Where have you taken my Lord?" She thought it was the guy that was trimming the flowers or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, where did you take my Lord? He goes, woman. And then she realized that it was him.
Well, he walked with the two disciples too for a minute,
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
telling them about
Thomas.
all the scriptures, all about the scriptures, how they.
On the road to Emmaus.
Yeah, and then at the end, they're just like, "Who are you?" And he was just like, "Do you not recognize me?"
Right.
And then all of a sudden, their eyes were open. They're like, "Lord?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Boom!
Didn't
Yeah.
Check that out."
Didn't his words burn in our hearts?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, dude.
Wasn't every word he was saying just burning in our hearts?
burning in our hearts. Yeah,
So,
I knew it was you.
Mistaken identity is foolish.
That's silly.
Another one is hallucination.
Group hallucination.
Oh,
Now,
There was a lot of peyote by those tombs in those days.
one of my favorite theories, by the way, and I won't bogart the moment, but hallucinations are my jam
I know it's your jam.
because I've been known, not lately, but when I was younger, to partake in the hallucinogenics. And I can tell you this, that in a group of, let's say, 5 guys, there's no way you're tripping the same way.
No way.
You might have a similar experience if you drop at the same time, but there's a different world between I drop now, you drop a half an hour from now, we're on a different trip all night.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So to say all these people are tripping the same trip,
Oh, yeah.
5,000 people,
Yeah.
right?
you know what I'm saying?
You can't do that.
That's some craziness.
And another one is God destroyed the body.
What would be the purpose of that, Dan?
God destroyed
Yeah, that's
his
it.
body.
You never even heard that.
Right.
I
So
never
it's
heard that
yeah,
before I showed up here
no,
today either.
All of the above theories are purely naturalistic. Another group contends that some kind of miracle occurred, but it was not the miracle of a physical resurrection of the body of Jesus after he had died. Rather, this theory contends that God destroyed or transformed the body of Jesus so that it mysteriously and immediately disappeared from view.
What would be the benefit of that?
Hmm.
Dude, walking through walls.
Dude, yeah, but so it's basically somebody stole the body. It's the same theory. Different characters stole the body.
Yeah.
Like the guards moved the body, the disciples stole the body,
Joseph stole
Joseph
the body.
stole the body, or God stole the body.
Right. Yeah. Come on.
Same theory, different thief.
Yeah. All right.
And then how does it hold the power to carry on for 2,000
right,
years?
and eat.
Because
Right,
2,000 years
eat
from now, are
with
people
the
still going to be asking
disciples.
if Pac's alive or Elvis is alive or
He
Biggie's
told-
still alive? Nobody's going to even remember them 2,000 years from now,
He
bro.
told Thomas to stick his finger in his side,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you're
he's
Yeah.
like, "My Lord and my God."
post-resurrection experiences. I mean, they're out. Look, the fishermen, James, John, Peter, they all go out. They all go, what are you going to do now? After Jesus is buried, they all go, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
They're going back to the life they knew before Christ showed up. They thought he was going to dominate and rule Rome. They thought they were going to ride the coattails into this kingdom of God that he was ushering in. And when he died and he was buried, they were like, well, all right, well, there went 3 years of our lives. What are we going to do now? I'm going back to work. Going back to doing what I was doing before.
Yeah, man.
They're out there fishing. Jesus is up on the beach cooking fish. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, and they go, Who is that? Jesus?
Yeah.
Who jumps in the water first? Peter. Clearly, we'd all guess it was Peter because he's a maniac. Jumps in the water, swims.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
dude, you don't mistake that.
No.
Oh, thank God he rose from the dead.
And
I
you-
don't have to be a fisherman.
And it sounds like Peter
My
too.
life has, yeah, for sure. His MO is
I'm gonna be first.
reacting.
Okay, so I have this here. It's off of the Blue Letter Bible, the C2000 series by Pastor Chuck Smith. When I was going through
Chuck.
Chuck. So when I was going through, they call it the Chuck tracks. You gotta take the Chuck tracks.
The 1500 series?
It's the 2000s.
Oh yeah, 2000. Oh, I went back. See, I did the
Yeah.
1970s.
Well, this is.
I did mine on tape, by the way.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I did mine on CDs.
I had to use a pencil to remind it 5 times.
CDs didn't even come around until after, like MP3s and CDs didn't even
I
come
know,
around until
dude.
like 2000.
Now they have. I
graduated.
have the MP3 of the C3000 series,
3000.
which has twice as many teachings on it.
They're all the
Through
same.
Bible.
They're all the same teaching.
It's different. He had a different view.
Oh really?
Yeah, like I don't know what his study did in, but he said a couple different things, and he extrapolated it off of the studies. So we have here in one of his messages, I have this right here. He says, I have a book called Archaeological and Historical Writings of the Sanhedrin and Talmud of the Jews, and in this book there is a copy of the Actipole, which is a letter from Pilate to Caesar at the time. They don't know the authenticity of it, but it's in the archaeological book, okay? And it's a very interesting read. Of course, when you listen to the message, he reads it. But it talks about how he interacts with this. And so I wanted to read a portion of it and go ahead and keep on looking
You talking about Chuck?
Yeah.
Who knows Chuck? Love Chuck. Loved the little Chuck Smith. Chuck Smith was a smart dude. He was he was business savvy.
All right.
Smart dude.
He was really business
Really
savvy.
business savvy.
Yeah, he was. So this is part of it. He goes, Joseph buried Jesus in his own tomb. Whether he contemplated the resurrection or calculated to cut himself another, I cannot tell. The next day he was buried. One of the priests came to the praetorium and said that they were apprehensive that the disciples intended to steal the body of Jesus and hide it, and then to make it appear that he had risen from the dead, as he had foretold, in which they were perfectly convinced. I sent him to the captain of the royal guard, Malchus, to take him, the Jewish soldiers, and place as many around the sepulchre were needed. And then if anything should happen, they would blame themselves and not the Romans. And when the great excitement arose about the sepulchre being found empty, I felt deeper solicitude than ever. I sent for Malchus, who told me he had placed his lieutenant Benishim with 100 soldiers around the sepulchre. He told me Benishim and the soldiers were very much alarmed at what had occurred there that morning. I sent for this man Benishim, who related to me as near as I can remember the following circumstances. He said that about the beginning of the fourth watch, they saw his soft and beautiful light over the sepulchre. He had first thought that the women had came to embalm the body of Jesus, was their custom. They could not see how they gotten through the guards. And while these reflections were passing through his mind, behold, the whole place lighted up, and there seems to be crowds of the dead in their grave clothes, all seeming to be shouting and filled with ecstasy, while all around and above was the most beautiful music he had ever heard, and the whole air seemed to be filled with voices praising God. At that same time there seemed to be a reeling and a swimming of the earth, that he turned so sick and faint that he could not stand on his feet. And then he said the earth seemed to swim under him, and his senses left him, so he did not know what did occur. I asked him in what condition he was when he was. I asked him in what condition he was when he came to himself. He said he was lying on the ground with his face down. I asked him if he could see, if he could not have been mistaken to the light. He was. Was it not maybe the day coming to the east? He said at first he thought of that, but only stones cast away. But only as stones cast away, it was exceedingly dark, and then he remembered it was too early for the day. I mean, there's more to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot there.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes on for a little while.
What was that exactly?
It's called the Antiplicate. It's a letter supposed wrote from Pilate to Caesar at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, so extra biblical, unauthenticated, but nonetheless.
Interesting read.
Yeah. Nonetheless, archaeological find.
Right, exactly.
And so whether it was
true or not, they found it, and
Imagine if it
it
were.
seems very interesting.
If it were true, which I guess Chuck is presuming that it was true.
No, he said there's
He
no.
didn't know?
No, he just thought it was a good read.
Oh yeah, it's a good read.
It is a great read.
Definitely so, because that is, whether you're talking about the Illuminati, aliens, JFK, whatever conspiracy you have in your mind,
That's another one, JFK.
this is the most important conspiracy that you can get, that you have to figure out and get past. Yeah, Paul Walker. He was smoked.
He knew him.
Did you? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he went to school around here, didn't he?
That I don't know,
Right.
but I worked with him after the during the Fast and Furious and
Oh,
through
nice.
the first 3 movies.
Nice.
Yeah, we did the cars for that.
Yeah. So it's like the most important thing is to get past any weird conspiracies that'll keep you from believing that Jesus Christ actually did rise from the dead for our justification. And this whole thing that we believe in,
It's the biggest hoax of all time.
you got to get past it, because the truth of the matter, the evidence that is stacked in favor of an actual resurrected Christ, is so vast that literally points to eternal life of the human beings. Paul said, if Jesus didn't rise from the dead, we are all to be pitied, because we're still in our sins and we're going to die such. I
Right.
didn't say that part. I think I added that.
No, he said.
embellishment.
I think he did say that.
So we're at least most to be pitied. If he didn't rise from the dead, we're most to be pitied, because we're the ones trying to live. We're living like lives that following this guy that rose from the dead, claiming to be God.
Yeah, people died.
They gave
Not
their,
just the disciples, but
thousands of people.
Thousands, hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, thousands of people have died defending that. So, look, you can get past, if you can believe it. You believe that Jesus died for your sins and then he rose from the dead. That's not an ordinary belief, right? It says what Paul says.
Not anymore, that's for sure.
Well, he says to the Corinthians, he says, look, the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing.
True.
So to the extent that it makes sense to you, that's to the extent that the Holy Spirit is working in your mind and your heart to draw you to himself. You should probably just heed that call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That extent is only there. You're only to that extent because of the fact that Christ died and rose again.
Christ conquered
Giving
death.
us the Holy Spirit
Yep.
to be able to be with us, to lead us to truth.
Yep. He conquered death so that we could be reconciled to God and so that we could rewind time in a sense and go back to that garden without eating that fruit.
Yeah.
The difference being now that we now have to undo all this baggage we picked up on. That's the sanctification process, right? It's this idea that we're going back to who we would have been. A sinless, joy-filled, love-filled individual, working in community together to not only lift each other up and build each other up, but to build up the community and the world. And so, it makes sense, just makes sense that we've separated ourselves from the love of God by our sin, and we needed somebody to step in and take our punishment. That's what Jesus did.
Right.
And he rose from the dead to prove it. So, baller. That's, look, so that is the most important conspiracy theory in my mind, whether you believe angels could have sex with women or not, or you believe whatever. It doesn't, all that is just trivial. We're not going to die on the hill for it. It's not even,
Right.
That's not that important. But Jesus Christ rising from the dead, that is
That is
the
the most
cornerstone
important,
of
yeah.
everything we believe.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I agree with that one.
All right, anything else?
Except
Closing?
for-
How can it be proven?
Oh.
How can it be proven?
Huh?
How can it be proven?
How can
The
it be
truth of
proven?
it.
The truth of it? I mean,
The truth of what?
The truth of Christ's death and resurrection.
the empty tomb.
But hey, okay, but that's a 2,000-year-old story. How can it be proven today? Can it be proven today?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure, Ken.
There's so many writings out there, such as
You know this. You know this in your heart, bro.
Oh, you're asking a question you know the answer to. Why don't you just tell us?
Yeah.
I know, like,
Salvation, bro.
oh,
I mean, I don't know how it works for everybody, but I knew nothing about the Bible. I prayed one night in
Right.
prison, God, if you're real. I didn't even fully believe in him. God, if you're real, I'm done with my life. My actions are not working. Please take my life and use it for your will and show me what you want me to do. From that minute on, I felt a weight released from me like you wouldn't, it was physical. I felt a tangible weight released from me, like the darkness was moved out of me. And then I was able to understand every single word I read in that Bible from that point on. That does
Right.
not happen. Nobody raised me up in the Bible. I didn't get taught by a bunch of different pastors, by a family of Christians. I sat there and I read my Bible, I ate and I slept for the next 6 months. And that's how God taught me, through the Spirit, on his own, just to me. That's proof right there that Jesus Christ
Right.
died and rose again. That doesn't happen on just your own will wanting to get better. You don't begin to understand things that actually apply and make your life immensely improvable. And the foolishness of the message and what it is, you're actually sacrificing the things that you want to do for things that you would never have considered doing before, and you're happier and blessed because of it.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure. Yeah, the testimony of a person is the proof of a resurrection.
absolutely.
Definitely.
Right. Like once I was a selfish jerk, and now I want to do everything else for somebody else.
Well, you're still the selfish
I am still anyway.
Just a better one.
I am still in many ways a selfish jerk, but that's the case.
Right, I was blind, but now I see.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know my testimony, and I've shared it many times on this podcast, but, I mean, testimony, you can't touch it.
Can't touch them.
You can't touch it.
No. And
Can't touch-
nor can you touch the testimony of the people at the tomb.
At the tomb,
Witnesses. Eyewitnesses.
Paul also.
Peter, eyewitness.
Oh,
Yeah.
Paul saw Christ
Yeah.
after death and resurrection.
Right. And his
Paul is
glorified
only
state.
Paul from Saul because of Jesus Christ's
Right,
resurrection.
blinded him with his
Mhm.
glory.
There's all kinds of evidence to the
Evidence.
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 I'm saying it right.
I know you are.
Elephants.
Elephants. There's plenty of elephants to the resurrection of Christ. Plenty. That's
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
closing. That was a good closing.
That was a great closing. I think
I
that
got
was.
saved from that.
I can't, dude. I'd get saved from that.
You got anything?
So conspiracies, and conspiracies.
That's it.
I think it all draws back to some sort of truth or some reality, I should say, that happened or is happening, and we can't really, stop these things with subliminal messaging, with the aliens, with what was the first one again? Forgot. Illuminati. Like,
They did that to him, by the way.
yeah, they did. Yeah. You see that?
They tapped into his headphones and he erased
My
them.
bad. I meant to keep my phone over here.
Well,
bro.
no, it could have been the wormhole in my brain from all the drugs that I've done in the past.
That was the Illuminati for sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's all traced back to something of reality. And, like you said, the most important one is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And I've heard it put this way before, that if the story of the Bible isn't true, then it's the biggest hoax of all time.
Ever.
Ever. And it keeps going. People are dying for it even today.
All over the world.
People are getting persecuted and dying for what? That nobody's going to die for a lie.
Right.
That's that.
Well, it
So-
starts from the beginning. Those guys, I mean, we would die for a lie if we're separated from the actual event by 2,000 years.
Yeah,
Right? So if it was a lie, then we would certainly die for it because we believe it wholeheartedly.
exactly.
But would they have?
Yeah.
Right.
James,
Would the lie
Peter,
have
John,
survived this
Paul,
long?
yeah, would they all have lost their head, been crucified upside down, been stoned to death? Would all, but Paul who was a Sadducee. I mean, he was like the Pharisee of Pharisees. He was like,
Hebrew of Hebrews.
he was high level.
He was a short, high guy.
He was a high level persecutor of the church, killing people, chasing down Christians and persecuting them, who turned and ended up writing 2/3 of the New Testament. That's bonkers, dude. Bonkers. And that's like, that their testimony is what we live on. Our faith is built on their sacrifice.
Yeah, totally.
So look, we've uncovered a lot of important, very important things this hour. The Illuminati. You may never see us again. And so if that is the case, we really are hoping that you'll subscribe. Not that we'll be back, but I mean, you subscribe and like and all that as a sign of solidarity for the truth that we've put out there.
The more you like and the more you subscribe and the more you share, we'll be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't take us because they probably want.
Thank you. Good point.
They probably want us.
That's a great point. Because if you like and share and get the message out, then they won't have any leverage to smoke us, right? So if you could do that for us, I mean, just do that for us because we want to live. And we'd love to come back next week and do this again. So share, like, subscribe, whatever you got to do.
Get saved.
Get saved.
Good Save Goad Podcast. See you guys.
Go, go.
Love you.
I gotta figure out what she is. Brenda hit me up when we first started. Behold a pale horse. Is there a book or something like that?
Yeah, the Revelation.
Behold the pale horse. No, I know that, but
You mean besides Revelation?